Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another post-fight analysis video from my Dana White's Contender Series last night. Danyelle Wolf versus Taneisha Tennant. All right, y'all, man. Just a few things I want to talk about in this video. As far as the result and the fight, I want to talk about that a little bit, and just the oncoming hype you can see in Danyelle Wolf. Because again, I watched this fight twice, and still the result was the same to me. I feel like Taneisha Tennant, she earned a very hard competitive decision win in this fight, but they gave it to Danyelle Wolf, and I know why they gave it to Danyelle Wolf, because first off, when you realize some things, like when I looked at it, I was like, okay, they're bringing in Danyelle Wolf, who's 0-0. She's making her pro debut for a UFC contract. I mean, who does that? So right there, that told me something. Then I found out she was fighting at featherweight, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. So they're bringing in Taneisha Tennant to fight her at 135, but no, they got Taneisha Tennant coming in there to fight her at 145. So I was like, wait a minute now. I mean, like, Taneisha Tennant's a bantamweight. She's not even going to be able to make 145. And she didn't. She made 143. So that right there told me, okay, they're bringing in a fighter with no fight experience to fight the undefeated bantamweight, the much smaller fighter. They're trying to build somebody up then. They're trying to build up a hype train here again, and I feel like Danyelle Wolf, who may have experience in boxing, doesn't have the experience to just say, okay, I can come over to the UFC and earn a contract that fast. I think that's for any fighter. Any fighter taking a first fight doesn't deserve a first go in the UFC. Even Holly Holm didn't get that treatment. So I just feel like already there was a lot going on here. So for Taneisha Tennant, she was going to have to score a knockout to win this fight. I don't care if she did win 30-27 in our eyes on the round, it would still be like a split decision for Taneisha in the end, and 0-0, you already knew that at some point Dana White was going to say, even if Danyelle looked back, she was going to get a contract, which she did. So there was just a lot of crazy things going into this fight. But, to me, I feel like Taneisha, she won the fight. She was slowly chipping at the bigger fighter, chipping away at the bigger fighter, and she showcased her experience and actually showed a lot of holes in Danyelle Wolf to make us say, okay, she's not ready for the UFC. Because, a natural featherweight would have actually put hands and probably knocked Danyelle Wolf out, or even, taken her down and choked her out from the performance she put on. But I feel like Taneisha Tennant, she really showcased a lot of good skill in this fight and a lot of resilience for a fighter who doesn't fight at featherweight. But real quick, man, just going back and looking at the fight, like the first round, I've talked about it with a few people. They felt like Danyelle did enough to win that round because, they felt she did land the more significant strikes. I mean, right away, Taneisha Tennant, to me, she was being smarter because she was landing the kicks to the lead leg of Danyelle. She wasn't trying to step into that power zone that these commentators are always talking about. She was dodging a lot of her Danyelle's offense early, and she was switching with kicks to the body and to the leg. Something that Danyelle wasn't used to. But it was like in the mid round where Danyelle, she started putting her hands together, and she landed a few good right hands. Now, she landed one big right hand that kind of knocked Taneisha off balance, and I think that was just a physical size difference there. It was just the strength of a bigger fighter, but Taneisha took it well, and she took a few more right hands from her. And Taneisha actually went in for the clinch a few times, but she wasn't able to make much of it because, again, Danyelle's a bigger fighter, so physically she was just kind of pushing her off. I feel like if Taneisha would have tried to trip her up more, maybe she could have got her down, or maybe if she put her in the Muay Thai clinch and worked the body with those knees and used her head to control more so on the fence, she probably could have got some more takedowns. But I think that round did go to Danyelle because of the fending off and the significant strikes. But I still feel like a lot of those leg kicks counted for something. Second round, Taneisha, she came out a lot smarter. This is what I wanted to see from her. She was walking the bigger fighter down. Just because the fighter is bigger and supposedly more powerful doesn't make them immune to being walked down. You can walk them down as long as you keep them at a calculated range. And that's what Taneisha was doing. She was letting her hands go at the same time because this is still new to Danyelle Wolf. She's a boxer, but MMA is new to her. She's going to be thinking about the kicks, the takedowns, and the punches coming at her. So whenever a more experienced MMA fighter walks you down, you're going to be thinking about all this. So that's what Taneisha was doing. She started walking her down, dodging her offense again, and she cracked her on the inside from the southpaw stance with a good right hook. So, Taneisha, Danyelle wasn't used to that. So while she's getting walked down, she's catching these big shots. But in like the middle part of the round, Taneisha caught her with an eye poke, so they had to stop it, but it wasn't too serious. But Taneisha went back to walking her down, and just landed big strikes. And she landed a good solid hook to, just tapped Danyelle on the chin. And right away, she kind of shelled up. So if she was hurt, Taneisha started putting those shots together, and she started unloading, backing her up. She landed a good body kick that hurt Danyelle. And Taneisha almost stopped her in this round because she had her shielded up, and the referee was kind of, standing there. So as she was shielded up, she's taking some good overhand rights and some big shots, but she was able to survive the round. But to me, that was a 10-8 round. I feel like Taneisha, she pretty much dominated, and that's what I'm talking about here. She showcased that more, she showcased more skill on how she could put that effective pressure on the bigger fighter. Now, the third round, I really feel like she should have kept this pace up, because when Danyelle came out, she came out throwing a lot of punches, and Taneisha started dodging a lot again. But, she should have went back to that leg kick and going back to the body and then go back upstairs with the jab. But as she stepped in, she caught a finger to the eye. And Danyelle, I don't know if this was revenge or what, but she caught her with a serious because Taneisha had to stop, and she kind of like, you could hear her scream a little bit from that reaction, and she had to stop altogether. So when the doctor was looking at it, I thought the fight was about to be called off because, that finger almost like went through the eye, and you could see like a little mouse growing under Taneisha Tennant's eye. So they had to stop for a minute. But Taneisha, she sucked it up, went back in, and she tried to clinch with Danyelle and trying to, she was going in for crunch time in this round. But again, Danyelle, she's just so big, so she just uses her size. It's not really her experience, it's just her size to kind of push the smaller fighter off. So now when Taneisha clinches with Danyelle, for a third time, Danyelle locks in a guillotine. She grabs that neck and pulls her down to the mat. But it's for like a minute, and she's still not able to get this submission on Taneisha. Taneisha's just kind of riding it out, and then Tanisha's able to transition on top to a side control. She slips her head out. So when she's in this top position, she's mostly controlling Danyelle now. Danyelle can't even get her off. So then Taneisha stands, she starts landing some kicks and some strikes to the body to the end of the round. So for me, I think that Danyelle, she really only had that guillotine moment, which looked big, of course, in the judge's eyes, but it was only like a minute. She only held her for like a minute, but the rest of the round, Taneisha, she landed more strikes and she fended off a guillotine in her favor, turned it to offense. So to me, that round went to Taneisha. I feel like Taneisha definitely did enough to win that round. So I had it 2-. I originally, when I watched, I had rounds 1 and 2 for Taneisha, and then I gave Danyelle round 3. But when I went back and looked at it, because there's some parts I missed, I saw 2 and 3 going to Taneisha in round 1 to Danyelle. So yeah, overall, I feel like Taneisha, she fought a hard fight, and she definitely earned the win, man. Because that third round, Danyelle didn't really do much, even on the mat. Besides trying to hold that guillotine, she didn't really do anything special. I feel like Taneisha did the better work. But yeah, man, all in all, like I said, I knew this was going to happen because, they were putting Danyelle, a fighter with no fights. Like I said, there's something they see. They're going to put her in there with a undefeated, smaller fighter, so she'll look good. And then they can kind of justify her record. Oh, she beat an undefeated bantamweight. She beat an undefeated former Invicta fighter, to make her look better. But when it all comes down to it, man, like, there's just too much hype here. Danyelle's got too much work to do. Dana White, nothing he said as far as like giving her the contract made sense. Dana White goes, oh, right now the internet is saying that Danyelle lost this fight, which she did, but I'm going to give her the contract anyway. What kind of sense does that make? He's cut out some other guys who did better and showed better skill and resilience, way better than her, so he's told them to kind of go back to the drawing board. But her, what did she do that was so special in this fight that they gave her a contract? She almost got stopped in this fight. This is her first fight. She's still learning. So why rush her and give her a UFC contract? Even when she was 0-0, why even try to put her in the UFC? Why not let her go to Invicta somewhere first and build her record up? So it's just one of them things. Why though. why they tried to feed her Taneisha Tennant. So for me, I feel like Taneisha just needs to come back stronger at 135. If featherweight's not for her, don't force it. Don't try to go into these fights where they're going to try to see you as food. You just got to go in there and be smart, even on the outside as far as business, because I want to see her come back strong. She has more potential than Danyelle Wolf. So don't waste it on something, they're trying to feed you to or set you up for, But hey, that's all I got to say on this one, guys. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Do y'all feel like Danyelle Wolf deserves this contract? Is she just hype? Do you feel like Taneisha Tennant was robbed? I personally feel like Taneisha Tennant won the fight. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.